Mr. Scott, you served as chief of the Border Patrol through the end of the Trump administration and the beginning of the Biden administration. Ms. Escobar and others have assured us there really was no difference in policy between those two administrations. Was that your observation?
It's completely misses the mark. And I will go beyond that. I was in the Border Patrol for 29 years, not just during the Trump administration. I was in San Diego when the Clinton administration said, illegal immigration is a threat to this country, we need to do something about it, and we came up with an operation and we started using things called fences, same as a wall, and we started using consequences, and we addressed it.
What impact did the Biden policies have on the security of our southern border?
It reversed the entire, 29 years of my career, it reversed all the progress we made and completely decimated border security.
Would you say that these changes are responsible for the crisis we now see at that border?
100%, because it's catch and release.
Mr. Nadler assures us that, well, don't worry, everybody who comes across is subject to, his words, rigorous vetting procedure. Would you elucidate on that?
Yeah, the information they give the officer, their name, and even their fingerprints are bounced off of a database here in the United States that has minuscule information about foreigners in it. So it's the equivalent of checking them in basically an empty hard drive.
So you once described it as checking it against a blank sheet of paper.
Correct.
Because we don't have that information and then they're allowed in.
It sounds really good. It's really doing nothing. It's the interviews where the agents, and they look at their tattoos, they look at their face, they figure out are they telling you the truth. That's where you find things out, and that is not taking place today because of the massive flow.
Because of the massive flow, and yet the Democrats say the solution to this is we need to increase that massive flow. We need to legalize all of this so that everybody coming in has a chance to go through that very process. How thorough would that be?
I like to actually use facts as well, and the fact is every time, and this goes beyond immigration, every time there's been a consequence for a crime, a deterrent and a consequence, that crime has gone down. When we had consequences on the border and we held people until the judge adjudicated their case, the flow stopped because the vast majority of the asylum seekers are fraud. That's the solution. Just enforce the law.
Okay, now the two numbers that I've been focused on are the 2.6 million illegal aliens that the administration has deliberately allowed into this country, despite the federal law says they should be detained. And in addition to that, the 1.7 million known gotaways, people that the Border Patrol observed crossing the border but simply couldn't intercept because they're completely overwhelmed. As I said in my introductory remarks, this is a population larger than the combination of New Mexico and West Virginia put together. If we legalize that, we're going to get more of it, obviously. How thorough can the vetting process be under such circumstances?
There's no bandwidth for that. So it's nice to talk about things. Theory is great, but in reality, there's only a certain number of agents and officers. It takes 2 hours for a CBP officer to process one of these asylum seekers at a port, about an hour and a half for Border Patrol agents. Just do the math. There would be no enforcement. And then back to New York, they can't handle 100,000? How many is too many? Seriously, we can't, this is unsustainable.